Now let's move into the arena of motorsport. We like to jump in there every once in a while here on the show, and helping us out today is our good friend and racing ace Karun Chandhok. He doesn't need an introduction, does he? But Karun has decided to do something a little bit different today. He's getting outside of his comfort zone. What am I talking about? No more suspense. Let's go straight across to Karun, who's standing by in Coimbatore to bring you this. Karun, over to you.
So Siddharth, I've left the clean comfort zone of a Formula 1 racetrack to come here and play in the dirt in this rally car. The VW Polo Cup car, which we saw on the racetrack, has now come over to the dirt world of rallying. Now, I've never done a rally. I haven't driven a rally car since my father ran a team about 15 years ago. So this is a completely new experience for me. Totally different scenario. We've got mud on the ground, as we can see here, and I'm not used to that. Normally when I'm driving on the mud, it means you're normally off the racetrack. So I'm looking forward to it. It looks like a lot of fun when I watch it on TV. Let's go see what it's like in real life. I tell you what, it is completely different driving on dirt. The car moves around so much, and you've really got to use the throttle to control it and balance it in a way you do in racing, but more so here because the car is sliding around. The steering system is standard power steering, gears standard straight out of the Polo road car. But otherwise, the sensory overload of the gravel and the stones and all this stuff moving around, it's quite extraordinary. So the car has only got 90 horsepower. Now when you compare that to a modern F1 car which is pushing 800, or even the Le Mans cars that I drive at the moment in the Le Mans 24 hours, we're pushing sort of 600-700 horsepower. So I think for me, the biggest thing I feel immediately is the lack of power. But having said that, you also have a lack of grip. So if you take a strange equation which makes no sense to people who drive on the road, but it does make sense to me as a racing driver, is a power to grip ratio. The car here on dirt is just sliding all over the place, and you really have to use the throttle to control it and balance it as you come through the corners. The biggest thing I find when you're driving around in this rally car is how the technique of you've got to flick it into the corner, get the back end to slide around, and then get on the power to drive out of the corner. It is a completely different way to driving than you would on tarmac in a Formula 1 car or a race car. It's all about precision and being silky smooth. Here, you need to be a bit of an animal with the steering on the way into the corner, but because of the lack of power, you have to be quite careful not to slide too much, otherwise you're just sitting there going nowhere, spinning your wheels. Having spent the morning playing in the dirt in this VW Polo, I'm heading to a more familiar environment, to the racetrack, more specifically the Karun Motor Speedway around the corner. There's a whole bunch of young drivers racing in this weekend's JKTI Racing Series, and I'm going to spend a little bit of time sharing some of the knowledge I've learned along the last 12 years from where they are in national racing all the way up to Formula 1. Let's go have a chat.
A young driver starting off in India, what if he doesn't have a 7-digit bank account? What advice would you give him, like what path to go?
You have to believe in the dream that somebody along the way is watching out and recognizing what you guys are doing.
You're not in the top 5. So how would you work on with your sponsors?
Sometimes you just have bad luck. It just happens. We all have bad luck, we all have bad seasons, it just happens. I always try and, in this analysis bit that I was talking about on the Monday, I always try and root it back to saying, what could I have done differently?
So I've left the dirt behind and come to a more familiar venue of the racetrack. This is the kind of environment I grew up on, and this is really what I'm used to. So I'm here for a little surprise to drive this FB02 car. This now forms the premier class of the JKTI Racing Championship, and these guys have kindly let me come and have a go just to see what I think. Because really, for the next generation of drivers who want to get to Formula One like Narain and I did, this is where they really have to prove themselves and get their first step on the ladder. So I'm going to jump in now and see what I think. So Siddharth, it's been a fun day here in Coimbatore, first playing in the dirt in the VW Polo rally car, and then we've got a fantastic day of racing as well that we've seen here at the JK Tyre Racing Series. It's been great to also chat with lots of young drivers, up-and-coming talents who we're going to hear from, I suppose, in the next 5 to 8 years. But for now, it's back to you in Delhi.